What's up? This is Super Tuesday in the United States of America, which is a big time for, I think it's about 20 states, a major time for selecting who is going to be the candidate for the upcoming presidential election in the United States of America for the Democrat Party. The Democratic Party is a Democrat Party, not the Democratic Party, as they had in a previous. I think they had a previous, what's it called? I just saw this clip. The previous debate that they had, they were saying the Democratic debate, and they're talking about, oh, it's not democratic in general because the process itself of actually selecting an actual nominee for the Democrat Party is not necessarily that democratic. There's something to do with superdelegates and all these voting things. And maybe some of the people have antagonism towards the Electoral College because they know how shady and things that their system are. And when it goes to this thing before, it was a lot worse in the past. But as I've been saying with a lot of things, the world is getting better. We're just finding out about the bad parts. We just have more knowledge about the bad parts that it makes it seem a lot worse. Well, anyway, so this is the next part in the series where I read the post-it notes that were on the Union Square metro station after Donald J. Trump won the previous presidential election in the United States of America to become the 45th president of the United States of America back in November 9th, I think is when he won. And this was a few days after I was in New York City with some friends and we're like, hey, let's go check out these post-it notes. I went down into the metro. I found a post-it note. I wrote Trump train to MAGA land is for everyone and posted it on there. That's what's on the screen right now. And this series has been me kind of just reading them and going through them because I'm rather confident that it's going to be, I think it's going to be a landslide victory for Trump to get in again in 2020 and go up to 2024. So I'm more concerned in what is the reaction? What were people thinking when they posted the post-it notes on there? Part of this is me explaining why I posted the Trump train to MAGA lands for everyone. Because like him or not, that process that he started is something that has affected the entire world. It's for everyone. Even if you don't know about Trump, you're being affected to him in a rather indirect, direct way. Like it's not necessarily so far away where its effect is you 6, 7, 10 people removed from it. It's rather close to you, like maybe 2, 3, 4 people removed from it who are directly affected with either being pro-Trump or being against Trump or something Trump does. When you're the president of the United States of America, still has a big it's still a very powerful position with a lot of influence in the world and leading the way things are done and other people react to things. And yeah, so this is just a series. I'm going to get into the reading right now. The only intro I have is Super Tuesday. I'm going to release another one of these videos tomorrow after Super Tuesday. A couple of the Democrat people who were vying for the Democrat nomination have fallen out. Now I think it's only Joe Biden, who in the last one I said, is he going to be the Jeb Bush of this election? I don't think so. I don't know. He might actually get it. Bernie Sanders, who I still think has a chance to actually get it, who still I think is going to be the nominee. There's Elizabeth Warren, Senator Elizabeth Warren, who is, I don't know. And Mike Bloomberg, who, interestingly enough, might actually buy the thing. And I think the media in general is rooting for him in some sense, just because of the amount of money he's going to spend on the election. And I think if Warren, I don't think Warren's going to get it, but if Biden gets it, I think you still see Bloomberg spend his billions to back him. So I think the media themselves are definitely backing, I think, Bloomberg or Joe Biden. And I think the two winners from Super Tuesday are going to be I was going to say Barry Sanders, because somebody was talking about how somebody had some opinion about Bernie Sanders, and like this person doesn't know the difference between Bernie Sanders and Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders as a running back played in American football. Anyway, so getting into the thing, I think it's going to be Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden are going to be the big winners coming out to Super Tuesday. But I'll be back tomorrow with some quick little notification on what it is. But getting into the video, the only thing I want to remind you guys of the videos is I'm reading these post-its notes in mind, coming from the position that people literally mean figuratively, especially when Americans are talking about politics. They literally mean things figuratively. So I'm going to read what they wrote on these post-its and give my opinion of what would it literally mean? What's literally written down there? What is the literal translation? If they literally meant this, if they literally thought this, if this is literally what was happening in the world, what would that mean? And then on the figurative sense, where may they have been coming from on this? And then just kind of thinking, what's the evidence that has happened to actually have them post that to begin with? Has it changed since then? Or what's it going forward? Okay, into the readings. The reading, and I'm going to try to keep these under 10 minutes, at least the reading part of it, So counting the start, it's probably going to go between 10 to 15 minutes with these videos. So getting right into it. Love trumps hate. Now, this is a saying that was caught up by some activists, some groups. I even got a button of it when I was... No, somebody gave me a button when I was in New York City, I think, and I put it up on my door. Or I might have gotten the button. I remember seeing the button also when I was actually attending the inauguration and the Women's March on the day after the inauguration. So this is one of the sayings that goes there. So literally, love trumps hate. They're talking about the emotion of loving something, and then this trumps just being that whole thing of it's above hate, like it defeats hate. And I'm not quite sure if that's a literal thing. This is depending on the strength of the love, depending on the strength of the hate, what you hate the person for, what's the evidence you have backing both of these things. But with these two terms in particular, these are terms that I am very specific in using. There was a time back in high school, a friend of mine said something to me that was really deep and personal to them, and I said, sorry. And then they said, why are you saying sorry? You had nothing to do with this. It was not something that you intended. You didn't do this to me. I'm just sharing this. And I was like, oh, I don't know. That's kind of what people say. And the person said, we were close enough for me to tell you this, and that's kind of enough, and maybe you can discuss. And that among other things, made me think about the words that we use. I wanted to use sorry for a specific thing when I have done something directly to harm somebody. If it's something that I was doing and it intended, I have some situations maybe unintentional, like if I'm just backing out of something and I bump into someone, I'll say sorry because I wasn't intending to hit them, but I did. If I'm trying to help somebody and then I end up hurting them, I would say sorry because it was my direct action to do that and getting into that situation like that. But if I, for example, built something in a location and somebody else came by and was harmed by that thing without me having built that thing faultily, like the building doesn't fall, but they go into a place that I built and then they have an experience and they trip and fall on something that's normally made in that area, I wouldn't say sorry in that situation. Now, when it comes to love and hate, for me, love, the closest definition for love I have right now that I think is appropriate is love is the involuntary reaction you have to someone who's virtuous if you yourself are virtuous. So whatever you consider a virtue to be good, to be positive, you kind of have an involuntary reaction to somebody else who has agency and carries out those actions, carries out those virtues, and lives out those virtues. You love that person. But when people throw love out this way, oh, I just got this burger. I love it so much. Oh man, it was raining outside. I hate it when it's raining when I wake up. Do they really love? Do they really hate in that situation? Do they mean those words? You keep using those words, but I don't think they know what you mean. I don't think they mean what you think they mean. I think a more appropriate usage of this saying from Princess Bride is they keep using those words, but I don't think that they think what I'd think to use those words. So I would have to think an entirely different thing was occurring before I said love or hate. But for them, it's a different situation. They literally mean figuratively. So in this situation, love trumps hate. Okay, I don't know. Maybe they think Trump is somehow representative of hate in some way. But what are the things that Trump supposedly hated? Who are the people Trump supposedly hated? Do they think Trump still hates those people? The hate he was supposed to inspire, do they think Trump has actually inspired that hate? Or do they have the mentality that they say, yes, despite Trump hating these things, despite Trump inspiring that hate, the country came together and the people who are anti-Trump have come together with their love and sufficiently undone or countered those negative things. Is that where they still are in this mindset? I don't know. If this was you, if you know somebody who posted this, if you had this mindset, let me know what you think in the comment section. Moving on to the next one. Live not on evil? Live not on evil? On Eve? I think that's evil. Live not on evil. Again, with this one, it's the evil thing. You know, when somebody is saying Trump is literally that one Austrian guy, if I say his name, this video might actually get flagged. So I'm trying to get this video out there and have people share and comment and actually discuss this thing and actually have it get out there and be seen by people. But again, they literally mean figuratively. How do they define evil? Do they define people who are supporting Trump as actual evil? And somebody has said this. This is one regular saying that goes around. They're saying, the people on the left, on the political left, look at the people on the political right and think they're evil, whereas the people on the political right look at the people on the political left and just think they're stupid. Now, I don't know one way or the other, but I think there is some sense in this, in the sense that a lot of people on the political left hold their political views as a religion. So for them, not believing that is evil. Just how if somebody's a Christian on the Christian right and I tell them I don't believe in God, I don't believe in the 10 commandments and the 603 other commandments that are in there, I don't believe Jesus was the Son of God, I don't believe these things happened, I don't believe even if there was a God described like that and that being actually ended up flooding the entire earth and doing some of the things that are attributed to him, I don't believe that's a positive thing. They might consider me evil for thinking this. Yet I might consider them stupid for thinking that's true, for being able to believe that with the amount of evidence that's been given and the contradictions that are in the book. So if they can kind of understand that, and it's made a lot more sense for me to actually look at these things in that way, to understand that it's coming from a religious point of view for some people, whereas for people on the political right, many of them already have their religious aspect in their mind taken over by regular theology, by conventional, traditional theologies. So they already look at the world from that aspect in that evil, good kind of sense. So everything else is looked at in more in an academic, scientific way. So it's, oh, this person just uninformed, this person is stupid. Whereas for people in the political left, they have occupied that religion aspect in their life with the politics, especially these active, progressive type of people, especially the sort of people who get into it enough to actually post post-its on the wall like this, to actually go to actual rallies and campaigns and be that active. Think about it. These are the evangelists of the political left's religion, of the progressive religion. Those are the evangelists. Those are the really, I don't want to say extremists, the fundamentalists of them, the ones who it means that much more to them. How your typical person in the political right, your typical Christian, your typical theist, your moderate or middle sector, your average one, isn't necessarily going to consider me evil outright or even say I'm evil just from me disagreeing with some aspect of their dogma. Yet the evangelists, the people who you see out there in protests, people you see out there proselytizing, they would go that far to say, oh, you're gay, you're evil. Oh, you're not doing what God said, you're evil. Oh, you don't believe in God, you're evil, you're going to hell. They actually believe that and speak it and embody it in a more direct sense than your average Christian. So I think that's something you can kind of see where this might be where something like this is coming from, where they actually think that. But I think this person is also a bit of a, is it onomatopoeia kind of thing here? Where you say live not evil, it reads the same way back. No, not evil doesn't read the same way back. No, it does. Live not evil, this reads the same way back and forward all the way to the T. LIVENOTONEVIL. So live not evil, both ways. So this could have been somebody who's a supporter, this could be somebody who was against. Not quite sure. So that's it for this video. I'm going to try to keep these between 10 and 15 minutes, counting the intro. I want to keep the actual reading part at least with 10 minutes. And when I was doing this, I read another one that I'm going to just pull out in a separate video and a separate presentation that I'm going to upload right after this one. And there's going to be another one tomorrow after Super Tuesday. So let me know what you think about these ones in the whole, does love trump hate? Do you think Trump is about your concept of love or some concept of love? Or do you think he is about some concept of hate? And what do you think him coming out on these things has resulted? Do you think people united together against Trump's hate and have been loving enough? Or do you think it's the people who cared for what Trump did and loved Trump that have come against, have won against, have trumped against the hate that people had for Trump? And then the live not evil thing, I think that's a good saying. It's going back and forth with the thing, play on words kind of situation. Live not evil. I think I can get behind that. Don't be evil, whatever you want to define it as. Think more about living versus the evil kind of situation. Do you think there's actual evil in this, involved in this? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe. Till next video, which is going to be tomorrow after Super Tuesday. Goodbye.